Hello, you're welcome to the nomination show of the 2017 Future Africa Leaders Awards. Firstly, I want to thank our man of God, the President of Believers Love World, Reverend Dr. Chris Oyakhilome, DSC DD, for the vision of the Future Africa Leaders Award, and also for instituting this most august and far-reaching award, the FALA, and finally for giving me the opportunity to host tonight's nomination show. I also wish to thank the Future Africa Leaders Foundation for the work done so far, for running with the vision that Reverend Dr. Chris Oyakhilome espoused, and also for this show and the opportunity given to me to host the show. I'll particularly mention the esteemed director of the foundation, Pastor Diola Phillips. Thank you very, very much. Now, the Future Africa Leaders Award is the vision or the goal of the Future Africa Leaders Foundation to impact African youth through mentorship programs that enable the youth to tackle prevalent challenges in Africa. The foundation is an initiative aimed at exploring and expanding the leadership potential in Africa and for Africa by identifying, celebrating, and supporting young Africans who have demonstrated exemplary leadership by impacting their generation positively through education, youth empowerment and mentoring, and through other projects aimed at building young people and preparing them for a positive future. Tonight, we will be seeing the nominees for the Future Africa Leaders Award for 2017.
Wisdom Jacob Oemechi, Maganga John from Malawi, Fuen Brenda Fomin from Cameroon.
The Future Africa Leaders Award recognizes youth leaders who, through their exemplary leadership, have distinguished themselves and impacted the lives of so many young people in Africa.
The last few years, we've been raising young leaders in the nations of Africa for the future of Africa.
I couldn't hold the joy that night when I was called out as one of the winners of the Future Africa Leaders Awards. And hearing Pastor talk to me that night, appreciating me for all I have done, to me it was a huge platform and a more level for me as an individual. And I cannot thank the man of God enough for having chosen me and called me to be a part of Global Impact.
Since I won the award, my work has taken another shape. Like it's more serious to me. Before I didn't know that I'm doing any impact, but now I knew that I'm doing something, so I had to take it more even seriously.
After the award, I was so much inspired, I was motivated. And one thing that really motivated me is to know the awareness in my spirit that Pastor Chris believed in me and believed in what I was doing. That really inspired me and motivated me to do more and go back and make loud impact and to reach out to more lives.
As a result of the Future Africa Leaders Awards, and the funds that came with it, I established the cassava farm. So I worked with a couple of teams, my friends and some other colleagues, and we set up a 10 acres cassava farm. And also it gave us an opportunity to provide jobs, employment for people, mostly school leavers and those still in school and those who are just out there not having anything to do. So we brought them into the farm, they get paid for their job. So we reached out to over 50 people, all through the year 2017. Also in the farm, we had a very bountiful harvest in one of the months, I think in the month of September or so. We had a very bountiful harvest, and we were excited to see that what we are actually doing is yielding produce. There's profit in labor. And we've gone ahead, to continue to inspire more young people. I think after the awards, actually, I got several invitations to secondary schools, because young people are always inspired when they see other young people like them, inspire them. So I had several invitations to mentor young people in agriculture in secondary schools. And we've really seen the interest of these young people, because we made agriculture to them be more like a career they can pursue in higher institution. Because we found out that nowadays people don't really take agriculture as a course in the higher institution. So that was one of our points to portray to these kids, these young people, and we made the platform available for them to see the career opportunities in agriculture. And we had quite a lot number of them show interest in crop production and catfish production, and we have some of them also go into backyard farming just to practice what they've learned. And to me, I feel fulfilled seeing that people are interested in doing agriculture. It's something that really has a high revenue generation. It can take care of you and your family. So having more young people go into it is really exciting, really. It's exciting.
I started many projects with kids and teenagers to teach them how to educate them, and some training programs for them, teaching them how to type, how to do recordings, as well as we had several camps for teenagers and kids, teaching them how to deal in life and giving them some skills to live by. We held as well summer schools where kids came and they were learning how to read, how to write, not just Arabic language. This year we started to learn English more in more organized way, and in much fun, with songs, with activities, with playing with colors, sand, and the kids were really excited, and they were coming because they loved to learn. They were not anymore afraid of learning or failing when they learn.
In this year 2017, the Future Africa Leaders Foundation organized an international training program in Nairobi, Kenya for the winners of the Future Africa Leaders Award, and they came from the East, West, Central, and Northern Africa. The one-week intensive training held across two centers, the Philamujuani Foundation and Growth Africa. Courses covered included screenwriting and video production, as well as entrepreneurship development. It was a time of enlightenment for them.
The opportunity alone to be a part of the international training program was beyond words. I could not explain the joy. It was extraordinary for me to actually hear firsthand, from experienced people who are so good in their field of endeavor. We sat at their feet and listened and learned from these people how to put up a good media story, how to tell a very good story about your project, about what you do, and also how to have an excellent social business model.
When I came back home, I did a lot of research, a lot of preparation, and I was able to take around 5 girls back to school, cater for their school uniform, everything necessity that they needed to go back to school with. I've been to more children orphanages. I have provided food, more clothing, more beddings, and this has brought satisfaction for me, because back then I was not able to do much. I only did where my hand could reach, but at this point I was doing much more than what I used to do. And I've also been to more high schools, reaching out to more schools, now not only for girls but also boys, to impact their lives. I have employed more mentors who have made it in life to come and talk to these young people, because they are the future leaders of tomorrow.
Since after the awards, I've consistently have the summer school since 2013, and it's been and it's been from glory to glory. The impact have been adding up every year. Now we teach in the summer school, we teach subjects that are core subjects for the secondary school classes, and at the end of each of this session we have party for them where we pick out those who have performed, who have done outstanding, and we give them awards, we give them scholarships, we pay their school fees, we give them materials, educational materials, books, calculator, and the other sets that they need for school. We have had people coming even more because the news kept on spreading around, so they keep bringing their children, the people within the community. They want their children to attend the school, and it's free. The summer school is free. We don't collect a dime. From 2013, we have reached thousands. Every year it keeps adding times 2. We started with 197, then the next year we had over 300 students. Then after that, we had about 500 students. That's the third year after the awards. We had about 500 students. We had 3 centers where we were holding the summer school.
On May 25, which is globally recognized as Africa Day, FALA ambassadors under the direction of the foundation organized programs and projects in their countries to commemorate the day and impact their communities positively. Here are some of the projects organized by our FALA winners and nominees on Africa Day. In a community with residents of over 100,000 people, where there is scarcity of water, the people of Kunene province in Angola resorted to drinking and using water from polluted streams, which affected their health. FALA nominee Emmanuel Kananga from Angola saw the need to provide them with clean and running water, and he decided to dig a borehole for them, and this made it possible for the people of Kunene to have clean and running water for their everyday use. 2014 star winner Lotan Salape celebrated Africa Day in style by distributing 176 free solar lamps to students of Olepolos Primary School in Kajiado County, Kenya. Inspired by the Future Africa Leaders Award, he provided hope and light to the students. These much-needed solar lamps have helped the students to improve on their schoolwork, as they can now study more and do their homework.
In commemoration of Africa Day, we have been carrying out projects. We have also been involved in projects towards development, education, and then we have identified some schools where they have needs. For example, in 2016, we gave out 61 school uniforms to NEA Primary School, Tajiri, a school in Jos North local government where the student Itato, we identified some of the students in the school wearing rags. Some of them were not even wearing uniforms. They come to school and they are looking very dirty, they are looking unkempt. So we sponsored 61 school uniforms and we presented to the school. And then in 2017, we also identified a school, a primary school also, where the students sit on the bare floor. They have them en masse on the bare floor. So we got sponsorship and we moved to give them furniture. We provided desk for a class in the school.
It's like fire shut up in my bones. I just can't sit down and watch people or watch these young ones destroying their lives, because I know that I'm the solution in their lives, and reaching out to them has also made them reach out to other people. It's like every tree a forest, every tree a forest, and it's satisfying to see that truly because of me standing up, my community now is better, and not only my community, Kenya, and not only Kenya, the whole Africa being a better place.
So much was accomplished through the winners of the Future Africa Leaders Award. So many lives have been affected. Destinies of many young people have been changed for the best through the efforts and exemplary leadership of these vibrant youths in Africa.
welcome to the 2017 edition of the Future Africa Leaders Award nomination show. First and foremost, I want to especially thank our president, Reverend Dr. Chris Oyakhilome, for his exceptional vision for Africa and the entire globe, and for making us growth catalysts in nation building. Africa needs to empower its young people to increase their abilities to influence government decisions that will impact their communities and nations, and also equip them to develop skills that will contribute to nation building. Tonight, we will be announcing the names of outstanding youth leaders across Africa who have distinguished themselves by taking upon them the challenge of leadership. We will proceed right into the first group of nominees for tonight. And they are Mokete Davidson Dio from Cameroon, Rufaro Muyanga from South Africa, Juliet Amena Moses from Nigeria, Brenda Moale from Malawi, Shepiso Masilonyane, Botswana, Naomi Epoki Aliyu, Nigeria, Bath Dumongwe, Niger. Watch the video of their exploits.
Mokete Davidson Dio from Cameroon. Mokete Davidson Dio is an exceptional 23-year-old youth leader who is waxing stronger with each passing day, regardless of varying threats and undesirable circumstances that are prevalent in his immediate environment. Passionate about community and entrepreneurship development, Mokete established a non-governmental organization called FALA, Association of Community Development and Entrepreneurship. The organization provided potable pipe-borne water for 2 villages with 8 youths employed. The organization also distributed 24 packets of agricultural seeds to youths and local farmers. His zeal for youth empowerment caused him to organize 18 seminars and 6 workshops, which impacted over 28,000 young people cumulatively. In a bid to enhance agricultural development, Mokete collaborated with the regional supervisor for agro-farms to arrange a free lease of 24 farm plots to youths and local farmers for a 2-year period. He encouraged and trained 40 youths on how to raise funds through the growth and sales of cash crop seedlings, thus significantly minimizing required capital to the would-be agricultural entrepreneurs. Mokete also teams up with the Mentors Foundation to host Education Today on 5 television and radio stations in Cameroon. The program teaches 28 different academic subjects and also addresses some social issues. This has helped mitigate the adverse effects of the current Anglophone crisis that caused the closure of schools in southwest and northwest Cameroon for 10 months running. Today, we specially recognize the sensational and amazing Mokete Davidson Dio as a pace-setter and a trailblazer that is implementing changes, transforming and renewing minds, rewriting history, and setting new standards for his peers and for the world at large. Rufaro Muyanga from South Africa. Rufaro Muyanga is an amazing 18-year-old youth leader whose work in her nation, South Africa, has impacted and influenced thousands of children in South Africa and across the African continent. She established an organization through which she tutors a group of young children at Zandspruit Secondary School, which is located in a very disadvantaged community. Most of these children have been in the same grade for several years due to poor educational background. Through these effective tutorial classes, she has been able to help over 50 children gain admission into higher institutions. Rufaro Muyanga also runs another tutoring program tagged the Next Generation Computer Programmers. It focuses on teaching children how to use and understand computer language and techniques. Over 100 children have benefited from this program. With a strong desire to completely transform the lives of young people in her nation, Rufaro set out to organize outreach programs in rural and poor communities in South Africa using several Christian materials. She held a seminar titled Mind Management, where she shares vital information on the mind. As a result of the impact of these outreaches, Rufaro took the campaign to schools, teaching and transforming the lives of over 10,000 young people. Rufaro partnered with an organization called The Living Souls to reach out to elderly people in her community. Through this partnership, over 400 elderly men and women were catered for, fed, clothed, and given precious words of comfort. Indeed, Rufaro is an exceptional future Africa leader whose leadership capability has influenced people from all ages and all walks of life in her nation. Juliet Amina Moses from Nigeria. Juliet Amina Moses is an inspiring youth leader who has motivated hundreds of youth in her community. She obtained the consent of her state government and started several youth groups across 3 high schools in Kano, northern Nigeria, and organized motivational and educational workshops directly impacting over 500 students. She also distributed over 500 copies of motivational and educational materials to the students. This feat was especially commendable given the historic resistance to female and non-Islamic initiatives in the city. Combating the societal ill of early marriages in her community, she especially engaged the young women, encouraging them to transcend cultural barriers and societal pressure to marry early and commit to finishing high school. Her efforts yielded significant results and was commended by the governors of the schools as well as the state government. Ever resolute in her commitments to female empowerment and education in her community, she raised sponsors who paid the school fees and welfare packages of over 200 female students, some of whom had not attended school for over 1 year due to lack of funds. Worthy of note is the fact that Juliet courageously undertook some of these youth outreaches despite risks to her personal safety, as has been the case in her northern Nigerian community. Juliet Amina Moses is indeed a bold and dynamic youth leader who has empowered many in her community and beyond. Brenda Mwale from Malawi. Brenda Mwale is a 23-year-old youth leader from Malawi who is involved in various community building projects. After identifying the needs of a community, she decided to embark on several projects to inspire and empower the youth. She started a farming project to raise funds and assist less privileged children with school fees as well as their basic upkeep. She's also been able to send 87 children back to school. Brenda voluntarily takes out time to teach primary and secondary school students who cannot afford paid classes. Apart from helping them with their schoolwork, she also teaches them on positive attitude, computer lessons, and personal hygiene. She currently has 57 students in her class. In partnership with a private company, she organized a cleaning day for her community with over 300 youths in attendance. She went further to establish the Mponela Cleaning Campaign with 45 members who took time to clean up the community. This has inspired other residents and vendors at the flea market to join the campaign on Saturdays to help clean the community. She launched the tree planting project to address a pressing environmental concern. She bought 20,000 tree seeds for a start and distributed them across 30 villages under the Mponela district. When the government heard of her exploits, they came on board with her other sponsors, and as a result, she was empowered to distribute over 150,000 tree seeds across 50 villages. Brenda is a phenomenal and inspiring youth who has inspired socio-economic development in her community and changed the mindset of its residents. Shepiso Masilongyane from Botswana is a 19-year-old child's rights advocate with a key interest of personal development, esteem building, and leadership training. As vice president of the National Children's Consultation Forum, he has advocated for the amendment of the legislation to protect the welfare of children living with special needs. He is an activist against the exploitation of children, having converted instances of early childhood marriages in his hometown. He has also addressed other community gatherings on society practices that hinder the welfare of the child in the community. He empowers students on rights awareness and in solving issues affecting them in their community. Some of the issues he has tackled in his nation are early childhood marriages, child abuse, and inclusive education for children with disabilities. He organizes the annual Student Summit attended by over 300 students from secondary and tertiary institutions around Botswana in partnership with the Debaters Without Borders organization. Through the annual summit, student leaders have been empowered with essential leadership skills, training, and exposure on establishing a developmental platform for their own community. Tsapiso is an inspiring young activist tackling child-related issues such as child abuse and child marriages in his community. Naomi Ekpoki Aliyu from Nigeria. Naomi Ekpoki Aliyu is a 20-year-old inspiring and innovative social activist with a passion for helping disadvantaged and at-risk youth across different communities in northern Nigeria. She started several youth groups across several high schools where she organized motivational boot camps, arts and craft workshops, as well as tutorial services for mathematics and other relevant topics to enable them pass their exams with flying colors. Moved by the plight of the financially challenged, orphans and other at-risk youth, she started a foundation and organized several campaigns to raise sponsors to pay for scholarships and other school amenities, determined not to let them fall through the cracks into a life of crime and delinquency. Over 1,700 high school students are currently beneficiaries of this laudable initiative. Worthy of note, she raised a team of over 98 young volunteers who have worked with her in secondary schools, at-risk communities, as well as internally displaced people's camps. During this period, she campaigned against child trafficking and worked to rescue some children who were being exploited. She also worked with victims of female genital mutilation brought on by early marriages and campaigned for the enforcement of protection of young girls in this region. Ever sensitive to the peculiar needs of young people living in proximity with the fight against Boko Haram terrorists, she introduced trauma services, partnering with counselors to help the youth and give them hope for the future despite their present circumstances. Her laudable initiatives have earned her commendations from Christian organizations, the United Nations, and other corporate organizations. She was recently interviewed by Pat Robertson, president of the Christian Broadcasting Network CBN and Vice Chancellor, Regent University, USA, as well as Peter Thompson, the 71st President of the United Nations General Assembly, amongst other personalities and media houses. She was also chosen to address youth leaders of 110 countries in the UN headquarters in New York on a project to use technology to provide more affordable education to those in rural communities. She also secured an internship at the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, United Nations. Indeed, Naomi is an exceptional young leader who has emerged on the global stage as a future Africa leader, a force for change who is impacting the lives of young people for the better. Barthélemy Dumongwe from Niger Republic. Barthélemy Dumongwe is a 21-year-old inspiring youth leader. He is a young student in the first year of a master's degree in civil engineering at the Mining School of Industry and Geology, Niger, who has trained several youth through motivational activities in the streets of his country and in the public squares. Niger is a country where education is neither promoted or encouraged. In a bid to change this norm in society, he embarked on school visitation to speak on excellence and also encourage the students in their studies. He also trains young people studying civil engineering with architecture software. He organized an intellectual game to promote learning culture of young people called Numbers and Letters, for which he received recognition from the Ministry of Education. Before the baccalaureate examination in his country, he visited the biggest high school and went from class to class speaking to the students about success and excellence, after which he distributed educational materials. He also organized conferences in various schools attended by both teachers and students, including leadership conferences. Barthélemy organized a donation project for a maternity home in La Morde, and 10 women benefited by receiving items such as soap, food, ointments, and other needed items. He also organized for donations to the orphanage while sharing a message of hope and love with the 51 orphans.
Welcome back. Now, we're moving forward, and you know, December 26th, at this time every year, is always a period of great inspiration and motivation. You know, watching these videos and seeing the great things that young people are doing on our continent, it's always so awe-inspiring. It's always so breathtaking. You know, the media a lot, and the social media is so full of doom stories, especially coming out of Africa, how young people are partying, young people are involved with scams, and it's just as if the whole future of Africa is bleak. But thanks to the foundation, the Future Africa Leaders Foundation, and the vision of its president, our man of God, the president of our Believers Love All Nation, Reverend Dr. Chris Oyakhilome, through the work of this foundation, we get to see what these youths are doing, really being different and raising up a different generation just like them. I want to thank this foundation for your work, not only in providing mentorship for these young people, but also through this award, giving us a platform to be able to see firsthand what people are doing. It's not doom and gloom about Africa. No, not at all. There's a different generation that has been raised up, and more are being awakened and coming into the knowledge and realization of who they really are, and setting about making a change, not only for today, but for years to come. We are going to be taking very shortly the second batch for nominees for the 2017 FALA Award. I'll be right back after the break because we're going on break now. Don't go away.
The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. Therefore, the future of every nation lies in the hands of her youth. Africa is blessed with young people, rich with diverse talents, many of them untapped, and the youth make up 60% of the population of Africa. This is why we must do all we can to inspire, develop, and empower them for a greater future.
During my research, I also found out that young Africans were not employed. You just get to school, come out, and they start looking for jobs. So it became an issue, and I felt I should correct it.
So I understood that the way the agriculture was being done in my region was not the way they would have their own economic freedom. So I had to go back and research more on how to make agriculture more of a modern way that would help all my people in my region.
So that's why we initiated the project Off the Streets and Back to School, project, and majorly to take these children off the street and actually educate them.
The Future Africa Leaders Foundation is an initiative aimed at exploring and expanding the leadership potential in Africa and for Africa. Within the past 5 years, we have identified, recognized, and empowered young Africans from over 40 African countries who have demonstrated exemplary leadership in different fields. So, join us as we reach and empower more young people from across Africa to bring Africa into the future of our dreams. You can participate in these ways. You can sponsor the Future Africa Leaders Foundation's conferences and summits in African countries. And you can sponsor a youth project in Africa. For more information, please visit our website at www.futureafricaleadersfoundation.org. Future Africa Leaders Foundation, impacting Africa.
Yesterday is gone. It's a new beginning for greater things to come. New season of glory. I thank you, Lord, for everything. I'm forever grateful for the things that you have done for me. Higher I go, brighter I glow. Forward I go, no stopping me. No, no, higher I go, brighter I glow. Forward I go, no stopping me. Take a look at me, I'm bigger than mine yesterday. Take a look at me, I'm stronger than mine yesterday. My life is no longer the same. The greater things await me. This is just the beginning. The greater things await me. This is just the beginning. Oh, yeah. Yesterday was great, but the later is greater. Yesterday was beautiful, but it gets better. I thank the Lord for everything. I'm forever grateful for the things that you've done. And higher I go, brighter I glow. Forward I go, no stopping me. No, no, higher I go, brighter I glow. Forward I go, no stopping me. Take a look at me, I'm bigger than mine yesterday. Take a look at me, I'm stronger than mine yesterday. My Take a look at me, I'm bigger than mine. Yesterday, take a look at me, I'm stronger than mine. Yesterday, oh yes, my life is no longer the same. Greater things await me. This is just the beginning. Greater things await me. This is just the beginning. Yeah, I'm bigger than mine. Yesterday, take a look at me, I'm stronger than mine. Yesterday, my life is no longer the same. Greater things await me. This is just the beginning. Greater things await me. This is just the beginning.
My profound gratitude to our dear President, our father, our man of God, life coach, Dr. Reverend Chris Oyakhilome, to give me this opportunity to present these next nominees for the Future Africa Leaders Award 2017. This year, we have many outstanding young African leaders who have demonstrated potential leadership and free business that have brought significant changes in their communities. This year, leaders are a group that have provided solution to issues faced by their societies. Among them are our next set of nominees. Yusuf Ola Wali, Nigeria. Sharon Sambaza, Zimbabwe. Makata Diloui Alboros, Malawi. Richmond Dumbre, Ghana. Theophile Isiakoli, Togo.
Yusuf Olawale from Nigeria. Yusuf Olawale is a highly motivated, innovative, and passionate youth leader who has impacted thousands of youth, motivating them to academic distinction and entrepreneurial excellence. He started youth groups across different high schools in his community and has inspired and motivated many towards greater productivity, serving as a mentor to several of them. He organized motivational, educational, and skills acquisition workshops for over 5,000 students, partnering with corporate bodies and raised sponsors to give certified skills and entrepreneurial training, further equipping them to run their own businesses. To enhance training for the high school students in his group, he developed a new software comprising all past and current JAM questions, thus equipping the students with better tools to prepare for their exams more effectively. He also extended his reach to the virtual community, starting an online youth entrepreneurial group that reaches over 300,000 individuals online. He recently started a youth group in the university where he is currently a student and has successfully influenced over 100 undergraduates with his message of self-reliance and entrepreneurialism for youths. His efforts have resulted in several commendations and youth awards from various corporate bodies. Yusuf Olawale is a dynamic and innovative role model whose work has impacted thousands of young people in his community and beyond. Sharon Sambaza from Zimbabwe. Sharon is a 21-year-old youth leader with a strong passion for youth development and empowerment. She started over 16 youth groups across different communities, high schools, and universities, organizing motivational and academic excellence workshops, an initiative which impacted over 2,000 students. Moved by the plight of youth living with diseases, she started several campaigns such as the Kids with Cancer Project, which raised over 500 sponsors to pay for medical bills and tuition for these beneficiaries. She also organized an epilepsy awareness across 16 high schools for 2,500 students, educating them on how to deal with epileptic emergencies. She also campaigned for and raised sponsors to distribute female hygienic products for 3,000 financially challenged female students in rural areas to enable them to attend school without disruptions. She has also partnered with the Harare Parliament to educate over 150 youths in her group about their role in nation building and the country's new democratic dispensation. For these laudable initiatives, Sharon has received several commendation awards from institutions as well as corporate organizations. Ruth Deliwe Alipo Makata from Malawi. Ruth Deliwe Alipo Makata is a dynamic youth leader who has transcended cultural and traditional barriers and has inspired thousands of youth in her native Malawi to do the same. She started with youth across different communities, high schools, and universities, and has organized motivational, capacity building, and academic excellence workshops for all of them. She founded a female empowerment group aimed at helping young women transcend gender, cultural, and traditional limitations and become the best in their chosen fields. She organized several empowerment programs across major cities in Malawi, and her advocacy in this area have impacted over 5,000 young women who have become empowered and meaningfully engaged because of her efforts. Ruth is indeed a trailblazer whose advocacy has impacted thousands of young people in her community and beyond. Dompre Richmond from Ghana. Dompre is a dynamic youth leader who has inspired and empowered thousands of young people in his community and beyond. He started youth groups in high schools and universities around the country. To make up for the lack of facilities, he raised a team to teach over 600 students at rural schools in his community, teaching them mathematics, English, and other vocational subjects to better equip them to pass their exams. He organized career guidance seminars and workshops for over 1,500 final-year university students, which equipped them with the necessary soft skills to thrive in the corporate workplace. Partnering with some corporate organizations, he facilitated internship for over 200 students, which enabled them to gain valuable work experience. He also started an entrepreneurial campaign to challenge and motivate graduates to start their own business and facilitated capital loans for select beneficiaries. His initiatives received commendation from the Ghanaian government as well as several corporate institutions. Indeed, Dompre is an inspiring role model who has empowered thousands of youths to take their place as productive members of society. Theophile Asiakole from Togo is a young and inspiring leader who has caused changes in the lives of many youths in his city and in many localities in his native Togo. He has organized several success motivation programs as well as back-to-school campaigns for indigent children. As an astute leader, Theophile coordinates purpose-driven youth groups in Togo and Senegal. Recognizing the need of proper education and mentorship of young people, Theophile regularly gives success motivation and inspiration speeches at one of the most listened to radio stations in Lomé. This year, he organized 13 motivational and developmental programs in Lomé, targeting the importance of education, youth empowerment, and entrepreneurship. A cumulative of 22,000 youths have been impacted by these programs. He has also reached out to refugees in his community, ensuring to them clothes for adults and also for children. As a software engineer, Theophile has also created a mobile application available in English and French that avails young minds of motivational resources and content for excellence. Theophile is also a rapper, a songwriter, who has a rap group which is called YBF, Young, Bold, and Fresh. He continues to outdo his past in his quest to give more and more lives a meaning.
Wisdom Jacob Oemechi, Maganga John from Malawi, Fuen Brenda Fomin from Cameroon.
The Future Africa Leaders Award recognizes youth leaders who, through their exemplary leadership, have distinguished themselves and impacted the lives of so many young people in Africa.
The last few years we've been raising young leaders in the nations of Africa for the future of Africa.
To build a new future, we require new ideas. We need today's thinking for tomorrow's visions. The Future Africa Leaders Foundation has a mandate to impact African youths through various programs that inspire them to tackle the prevalent challenges in Africa. You can be a part of the work of the Future Africa Leaders Foundation by sponsoring programs or outreaches or conferences in your nation, or by supporting the foundation financially. Tonight, we have identified exemplary young leaders who have impacted others with the investment of their personalities, and they are David Osai Opong from Ghana, Merlin Arenean Gasa Nya from Cameroon, Tebogo Moro from South Africa, Gama Nsika from Swaziland, Victory Oyakilome from Nigeria, Mina Khaled from Egypt, Chinonso David Lawrence from Nigeria,
David Osai Opong from Ghana. David Osai Opong is a true leader at heart, driven by a passion to make his world better than he met it. He has championed a myriad of projects and initiatives geared towards bettering the lives of people in dire need of assistance and transformational intervention, impacting over 60,000 people in his country. I Am Value campaign was organized by him in over 50 junior secondary schools in Ghana, teaching the students the principles of value and how to add value to themselves in order to become men of influence and success. About 20,000 students were impacted through this program. David also organized special guidance career counseling programs in senior high schools, arranging for professional counselors and psychologists to offer special guidance and career counseling to especially final year students to aid them in exigent career decisions. About 2,567 students were reached in 10 schools. He has organized a chain of conferences themed Mind Project in several tertiary institutions in Ghana. Over 5,000 university students were taught how to manage and use their minds rightly through the Leadership Class project. David taught over 500 youngsters how to uncover their leadership potentials and become productive and effective leaders in their society. He also organized free extramural classes for junior high students to mitigate the decline in the performance of students in the BECE examinations, and provided free internet for schools in order to aid learning. He also organized an essay competition for junior high students in the Greater Accra region with close to 1,000 entries. David ran inspiring radio programs in his country, which focused on educative topics geared toward the youth, like leadership, involvement of the youth in agriculture, involvement of the youth in nation building, and youth entrepreneurship. He organized the Street Love Feeding Project to show love to street children and the less privileged, and as a result he has fed over 1,000 kids in his community. A graduate who majored in agriculture, David teamed with experts in his field to visit 47 farms in the Akwapim South District of Ghana, giving free expert advice on modern approaches and guidelines to enhance production. A United Nations Youth Ambassador, David organized several model UN conferences in Ghana, reaching students across all tiers. He also visited the UN headquarters to meet young people around the world to discuss and come up with working solutions concerning major issues around the world. Merlin Arenad Ngasa Inya from Cameroon. Merlin Ngasa Inya is a young man who stands firmly on the platform of effecting the change in which he believed. His convictions toward nation building enabled him to create such unfathomable impact in the lives of thousands of youths. Overcoming the challenges of growing on the streets, he is very passionate about being a change agent. As such, Merlin founded the organization Renewed Mind Leaders, and working in collaboration with the Delegation of Secondary Education and Youth Affairs, having district officers, mayors, a magistrate, and justice alongside uprising entrepreneurs in Cameroon. Merlin has created indelible impact through consistent strategic leadership conferences and seminars, fascinating entrepreneurial workshops, mind-blowing career orientation seminars, inner city outreaches, and also skill development workshops, where over 15,000 youths have been impacted across 10 different schools and 3 tertiary institutions, with university students being able to generate funds for themselves by virtue of the skills acquired. Being the author of a monthly inspirational magazine titled Voice of Change, he successfully impacted over 5,000 university students in 4 major universities across 3 regions in Cameroon. His experience in the streets imbibed in him the zeal to reach out to street children. Having a yearly goal of reaching out to over 200 street kids, Merlin and his team successfully reached street kids with foodstuff. In his passion for self-development, he volunteered with Royalty Business Forum and Noella Liongo Foundation, and is currently a laureate of the Bua Municipal Council Fellowship, and also possesses attestations of training which consistently upgrades him towards leaving indelible landmarks through his works. Tebogo Moreau from South Africa. Tebogo Moreau is a young leader with a determination to see young people prosper in the nation of South Africa. In her nation of South Africa, she embarked on a program tagged Let Your Dream Flourish, which supports young entrepreneurs by inviting guest speakers and celebrities to inspire them to press toward their life goals. Over 260 young lives have been touched through the Let Your Dream Flourish initiative. Dedicated to furthering academic excellence and reducing high school dropout rates, she organizes programs where she sources for and distributes much-needed items like school books, paper, stationery, and other supplies to schools in her community. Contending against teenage pregnancy, substance abuse, and other vices among the youth, Tebogo has set up 2 clubs for hundreds of boys and girls where these issues are addressed. In addition, these clubs provide career guidance, indoor and outdoor games, competitions, and many more. She also held Career Day with over 120 youths, which had professionals present to offer insights and guidance for various career paths. She also keeps youngsters away from negative influences, stirs creativity, and gainfully employs their skills through talent shows that showcase rap, poetry, dance, and many more. These shows include Hip Hop Sunday and a host of others. Through several of her programs, over 6,000 youths have been reached across 5 high schools, with several leaders being raised. Gama Nsika from Swaziland. Gama Nsika is a 22-year-old youth leader from Swaziland who is passionate about youth development and career path trainings. He held a 3-day empowerment program in Malunge High School in the Manzini region, where over 60 attendees were impacted. He visited Njabulweni School, where he inspired about 260 people, including teachers, and he's organized a tutorial to help with grade 10 to grade 12 students with math and science subjects on a weekly basis. And these have greatly improved the grades of the students in these schools. He also organized a career building program where 5 career professionals were present to guide over 50 youngsters between the ages of 15 and 25 who attended the program. He's pioneered 8 online groups where he daily mentors young people to lead successful lives, and has organized several community services to places such as Umponela Rural Hospital and several other locations. Gama proposed the construction of a bus stop to Manzini Municipal after an accident that occurred on the road involving a preschool student due to the street having no parking area. The new bus stop now services 3 schools and is a help to about 2,950 students. He also led a road safety campaign for students in conjunction with the Royal Swaziland Police, where they established stop-and-go control in schools, educating the students on traffic rules. The initiative also led to a police biker being assigned to Ungwane Park Primary School to help with traffic control. Gama's passion for community development also led him to organize a hospital project where he renovated a children's ward and created a magnetic contact system that would close windows the hospital was no longer able to use. He also replaced broken glass and helped with the electricity availability, which greatly eased the work of the nurses. Gama started a garden project at children's care points to help come up with a better balanced meal for the kids. The garden project is now helping over 600 children visiting the care point. He provided groceries and other essential amenities to Sunlit Garden Children's Orphanage and organized feeding programs at a community school in Chongwe district of Lusaka province, where over 400 vulnerable children and orphans were beneficiaries. Victory Oyakhilome from Nigeria. Victory Oyakhilome is a youth leader with a unique passion for raising a generation of ardent future African leaders. She is the founder of Girls in Charge Foundation and also the executive director of Glambird's Network, which ensures that the girl child live in total wellness, attain education, and is empowered and nurtured through leadership training, mentoring, skill development, and providing a platform for their voices to be heard. She organized an entrepreneurship program titled Themed Discover Conference, which is a special platform for young entrepreneurs to come together and network together. Over 700 young entrepreneurs registered and attended this conference online and on-site, with 5 special guests and speakers from several national and international organizations. In collaboration with the World Safety Organization, she organized a food drive and health fair feeding for 150 widows in 3 different communities in Lagos, Nigeria, and provided them with toiletries and other essentials. Her dedication to youth development have gotten her a special commendation and recognition from several governmental and non-governmental dignitaries and organizations, such as the Special Advisor to the President on Education, the Governor of Lagos State in Nigeria, ECOWAS Youth Council, among many others. She was also invited by the Lagos State government to be a stakeholder to deliberate and review the youth policies, setting new policy strategies and implementation plans. In the month of May, she was appointed as the Global Ambassador Representative for Africa Peace. She was invited to give a lecture to 50 youth ambassadors of Lagos State on the importance of leadership in changing the communities for the best. The impact of the training program was evident in the programs and projects organized by these youth ambassadors in developing their districts and local governments. In the celebration of the International Day of the Girl Child, Victory organized a conference themed Girls in Charge Conference for primary and secondary school girls from 5 private schools, where she provided book and stationery to the attendees. A total of 165 schoolgirls were present at the conference. Mina Khalid from Egypt. Mina is an exceptional leader whose many initiatives and programs have changed the lives of thousands of young people in his country. Passionate about making a change in the nation of Egypt, Mina has organized 3 major leadership conferences, success seminars, and hundreds of outreaches to youths in his country. Moved by the poor state of refugees in his country, Mina set up a refugee relief camp to aid and improve the standard of living of these refugees and supply them daily with required necessities. Mina also has a training school where he trains young leaders to be effective and productive citizens. Through his initiatives, he has impacted over 3,000 young people in his community. Chinonso David Lawrence from Nigeria. Being a diction expert, Chinonso and his staff reached 22 schools, both government and private schools, educating the pupils on intonation practice, common etiquette, and so on. Over 5,000 teens have been influenced through this platform. He organized a massive teacher seminar tagged Go Forward, where over 500 Lagos State District 6 teachers received free adult diction education, etiquette, and intonation practice. In the seminar, he also gave free medical consultation and treatment to all the teachers present. In the month of July 2017, Chinonso established Orange Dew College, a college registered and approved by the Lagos State Ministry of Education and currently having 30 students now receiving lectures. He also gave out a scholarship support to 4 teenagers in his community, catering for their feeding cost during school hours and days. Chinonso renovated the broken floors of Temidire government school classrooms and made it a convenient place for learning. He organized a free summer coaching and distributed free diction textbooks he co-authored. As a result of his meritorious service to his community, the Oshodi Isolo local government, in conjunction with the Lagos State District 6 Education Authority, gave Chinonso an approval to use any government facility and property needed to impact lives effectively in education. Chinonso has reached over 7,500 young people in his community. He is indeed a unique leader with a difference.
Wow, that was excellent. I have this from Tom Marongwe in Zimbabwe. Tom says, watching and listening to the various exploits from the FALA nominees has been very inspiring and touching. Indeed, many vibrant future leaders continue to be raised through our man of God. Thank you, Reverend Dr. Chris Yakile-Messar, for recognizing and encouraging the work being done by the youths in Africa. We love you, sir. Hashtag Zimbabwe. And then I have this, this is from the King's Chat super user account of FALA. Margaret with the name at First Queen. She's actually from hashtag CE Ottawa, CE Canada, and she also has, in fact, there are 3 hashtags here: CE Canada, CE Ottawa, and CE Bayshore. At least one thing we know is she's from Canada. She's watching from Canada. She said, first, I'd like to thank my daddy, our father, our man of God, Reverend Dr. Chris Yakilome, DSCDD, for empowering these youths and every one of us to change our world. Very inspiring testimonies. And it's quite a long one. She says, thank you, Pastor, for raising Christians, not religious church bench warmers. Wow, that's good to hear. And I have with me on set 3 youths, past winners of the FALA, who are certainly, most certainly not religious church bench warmers. They are going to be talking to us on accelerating youth opportunities in Africa. To my immediate left is the 2014 Star Prize winner, Ambassador Lutan Salape.
Thank you so much, Pastor.
Lutan is from Kenya.
Yes, sir.
All right. And to his immediate left is our 2013 Star Prize winner, Ambassador Sharon Ajide. She's from Nigeria here. And to my far left, that is Pastor Sharon's immediate left, is Ambassador James Okina, 2015 winner of the FALA. Now, something I have to let you know, we're having a nominations show today. We still have 2 batches of nominees to announce. On the 31st, during the 31st December New Year's Eve service with Reverend Dr. Chris Yahilome, the winners will be announced. The winners of the 2017 Future Africa Leaders Awards will be announced. And each winner announced that night would go back home with $10,000 US. Then from among the winners, we will be announcing the winner of the 2017 FALA Star Prize, and that winner goes with $25,000 US. That means the person who wins the Star Prize actually goes home with $35,000 US. I think I'm going to reduce my age. So, Ambassador Lutan, can you talk to us the next few minutes on accelerating youth opportunity in Africa?
Pastor, thank you so much for this opportunity. First of all, I'd like to start by saying a very big thank you to the President of Future Africa Leaders Foundation. Pastor, thank you so much for what you're doing with us, for raising us and training us, not to be church bench warmers. Pastor, thank you so much. Pastor, Africa, the way we look at Africa, the way we've been taught about Africa by a man of God is, Africa is a center of opportunity. It's a hub of opportunity. So we are looking at accelerating, the potentials of young people in Africa. We cannot look at it unless we start from the ground, the basis, which is education. Education is very fundamental in Africa. One thing that is certain about Africa is most of our governments must and should look at how their education curriculums, if I can use that word. We need to stop practicing or following education systems that are archaic and things that are coming from a colonial or a depressive kind of state. Because let us look at, I'm from Kenya, sir. In Kenya, when we go through school, they always focus on getting A's, which is nice, Pastor, but they never focus on how you can be an A student in life. How can they, harness your potentials, the things that God has put in you, so that as much as you're an A student in class, when you go out there, if the job is not available, how can this student also at the same time become big in life? Because this is it. At the end of the day, somebody will be a plumber, somebody will be an electrician, we cannot all haggle together and say we are all going to be president. Only one person at one particular time can be a president of a nation. But at the same time, we still have something in us that we can shine. Pastor always tells us there's space at the top. So our education system must be able to create a situation whereby there's always space at the top. Pastor, when we look at the African context, I was talking to some of my Nigerian counterparts, ambassadors, and they told me something that was really special. They said that entrepreneurship is part of the curriculum here in Nigeria, Pastor, but it has never actually been implemented. Why? Why are we just focusing on the math, the physics? For example, if you went to a biochemistry class, once you leave school, they did not teach you, the biochemistry does not allow you to be mixing chemicals in your house. But if they taught you something like carpentry, if they taught you something like, entrepreneurship skills, if they taught you something like, masonry, at the end of the day, when you leave school and you look at your life and you say, okay, I didn't get a job, but I can be a mason. Pastor said something that was really special once. I was listening to him. He said, somebody asked him, and he said, if he was not able to get a job, he said, but he can clean shoes. He said he can be the best shoe cleaner in the whole world. I thought about it like, why is it we don't have a situation whereby, like Lotan now, I went through an education system.
I became the best in my school. But apart from school, I can still do something really, really well. So what we need to do as government, or government needs to do, is to impact more, build more capacity in their students. So once you leave in the educational circle, you can still be relevant. Another thing, Pastor, is how we are giving women and the boy child and the girl child opportunities. I would like to speak about the boy child because that's a situation that's really affecting my country where I come from. We recently had the national examinations being released in Kenya. Initially, when I was growing up, it used to be the girl child that had the problem. Now, it is actually a national disaster. The boy child is slowly by slowly going and dwindling down. Why? Because the boy child has been negated to, oh, you can always do it, you know, you can hustle, you can do it. But now we are seeing girls that are rising up, which is fantastic, Pastor. But what about the boy? You know, can we try and maintain some parity? Can we try and have an equilibrium whereby, yes, the boys are doing it, and yes, the girls are doing well? So, Pastor, there's a lot of things that young people, the government, need to integrate and put together so that we can have a society whereby once you leave school, you're relevant. Once you're in school, you're still relevant. So, Pastor, these are some of the things that we can do to harness the potential of African youth.
Wow. There's this insight to just provide about the boy child and the girl child. It's like there's been a swing to the other extreme. And instead of trying to find a balance, things are becoming balanced again.
It's very bad because you see, the girls, we are buying sanitary pads for them. You know, we're trying, like in Kenya now, sanitary pads is tax-free, you know, and I appreciate the government for that. But look at the boy. I come from a nomadic community, the Maasai community in Kenya. The girl is now, the government has made it compulsory for the girls to go to school. But now the parents are looking at, okay, the cattle need to be fed. So who is going to feed this cattle? Is the boy child. So the boy child has been left to be the harder of the family with the perception that once daddy dies, once mommy dies, I will get the inheritance. But there's nothing as bad as giving somebody $10,000, $50,000 to a man that is not educated. Pastor has always told us water finds its level. So after 10 years or after 2 years of getting that money, nobody trained you how to use it. So the boy now becomes obsolete. You know, then it becomes a societal problem. Okay, who will marry this girl now? The girl is now more educated. Okay, the man now cannot do anything. So the equilibrium needs to, you know, governments need to look at, okay, this is what the girls are doing. Let's lift up the boys again.
Thank you so much. Now, viewers, you can see the phone lines are open. You can call us to the studio from wherever you are in the world. Call us to have a chat. You can chat with our panelists, former winners of the FALA, or you can ask questions. Or to any of them, you can send in your questions for any one of them. Pastor Sharon, you won the 2013 Star Prize, and when one will go through the King's Chart, even with Lotan, with you, with James, we can still see from time to time what you are doing. So what can you share with us on accelerating youth opportunities in Africa?
Thank you very much, Pastor. I would like to say a very big thank you to Pastor for this wonderful opportunity to be on set today. I'm eternally grateful, sir. Thank you for the Future Africa Leaders Foundation. Hallelujah. It's so beautiful. 2017 has been a significant year for us. And when you look at accelerating the opportunities for youth in Africa, there's so much more. I've really looked at the agricultural sector. So much more is happening right then now. You know, we have Wisdom Jacob from Nigeria, which actually started up something very interesting. You know, he actually has 10 acres of land of cassava production. And this is a young person that is 21. You know, he's not just depending on what he's learning in school, but he's looking at how he can look out for the human need in the food sector and meet the need. So every young person can look out for the same opportunity too. You know, that can solve the challenge of unemployment in Nigeria. That is, because it actually has the 10 acres of land, it's providing opportunity for young African leaders to be part of what he's doing. And that is really remarkable. That means from the cassava production, we can have vitamin A production. That means you can have custard,
you can have Gary production, you can have fufu production, and there's so much that you can do from the agricultural sector.
There are a lot of people watching us from all over the world. They don't have a clue what Gary is or what fufu is.
Yeah.
Now, Gary and fufu are actually staples for wide range of people of all categories, because you have the affluent people who also eat Gary, even the affluent also eat fufu. Everybody eats these things, but these are traditional Nigerian names for these things, right?
Yes, I actually mentioned this because for us in Nigeria, a lot of young people are not paying attention to the agricultural sector. They are looking at, let's just make the quick money, let's just go get a white-collar job, which is really nice. But the agricultural sector is a growing sector. The agripreneurs are not just nobody. They are somebody relevant in the community, and you can take advantage of that. I actually had to mention that because Wisdom Jacob is doing something remarkable on that
Wisdom
sector.
was a winner of FALA,
yes,
right?
yes.
Last year?
Yes,
Okay.
last year. So I actually also started something very interesting. We actually have the free acquisition for young people, for them to actually have this entrepreneurship spirit. And we told them on how they can become entrepreneurs in life. I actually have a young person, she's 21, and I told her that it was while you're preparing to go into the university, while you're waiting for the jam lessons and the different things, you can actually learn a skill. And she actually enrolled through the free skill acquisition plan that we have. And she was able to learn the fashion designing, she was able to learn makeover, she was able to learn photo editing. And Pastor, today, she actually learns these 4 skills, and she's making a minimum of 150,000 naira a month. Wow. And she's just 21.
Wow.
And right now, she's training other people and teaching them on how they can make, handsmade from this. And she's just 21. So she's not just relying on her parents to, make handsmade. She's already looking out for the need in that sector, and she's reaching out to it. So it's about, what can I do more? How can I be more relevant? Don't just be a job seeker. It's time for you to be a job creator. What can I create? There's this assumptions that Africans are just consumers, but there's a change. Africans are now manufacturers. So make up your mind that you're going to be a manufacturer. Look out for, what can I do? How can I make a difference in my community? How can I, be an extraordinary personality? For me, I actually made up my mind that I'm going to be empowering young people in terms of girl-child education, leadership, and education. That's what I do. And it's been inspiring for me through the years, and it's been from glory to glory. And this year, I was able to organize a yearly annual Keeping It Real program, and we took it higher this year.
Yearly what?
The annual Keeping It Real.
Keeping It Real.
Yeah,
What's
program.
that?
Is a special girl-child education awareness training that I have for girls alone.
Okay.
And it's been running for the past 6 years. The purpose of that program is to, let them know that they are relevant. They are not irrelevant.
How many girls have you reached through this?
For the past 5 years,
yeah.
I've reached out to over 35,000 young girls.
Over 35,000 young girls?
Yes. On site, we've had over 20,000.
Sorry?
On site, that means for the...
Yes, on site, okay.
Yes, for the past 5 years. And it's been highly phenomenal. But this year, we said we're going to inculcate the boy child into it, that they can also keep it real. That means they are not irrelevant.
Okay.
What I actually brought in this year was to let them know that the girl child is your sister and you can protect her. If you see that, this is my sister, you're going to help her. You're not going to get into domestic violence. You're not going to get into bullying her in class. You're not going to be thinking about raping her. You'll be thinking about, how can I protect her? So that was the essence of this forum this year. So we're able to pass that message across to them that the girl child is your sister. Protect her anywhere you see her. It's not a time for you to bully her. And we also help them in their career planning in terms of how they can choose, the right course. Because you know, our curriculum is very wonderful, but I actually let them know that you're not going to complain about the sector you're in. You're not going to say, oh, what is that government doing for us? But you're going to start thinking, oh, you are in secondary school. What can I do to make Nigeria better? So that is the essence of keeping it real. We're looking at the challenges faced by the girl child and even the boy child, and we're preferring solutions to those challenges. And I also have the sanitary pad drive and actually raised the funds through the social media. I took advantage of the platform to raise resources for the vulnerable girls and the low-income girls in Makoko community to provide sanitary pads for them. I was able to raise over $5,000 from online and from the different communities, and they participated, and we distributed over 700 sanitary pads this season, and the campaign is still on, Pastor.
Wow, tremendous. You know, I almost feel like saying, let's give her a big hand. But wherever you are in the world, you are watching us, whether Love World USA, Love World Plus, Love World Sat, Love World TV UK, or on Cflix, why don't you, in the comfort of your living room or on your mobile device, you can give her a round of applause. Same thing to Lotan for what you've been doing. Tremendous. God bless both of you. Now, I have with me also 2015 winner, Ambassador James Okina. Now, James, you're also from Nigeria here. So can you talk to us about accelerating youth opportunities in Africa? Now, please, viewers, remember, the lines are open. Do call us with your comment and also on the super user account for FALA.
Thank you very much, sir. First of all, I'd like to say a very big thank you to our man of God, Reverend Dr. Chris Oyakilome, PhD, DSc, DD. Thank you, sir, for being such an inspiring example of who a leader should be and for being such an outstanding leader on the continent of Africa and all around the world. Thank you so much, sir. We're grateful. So talking about accelerating youth opportunities in Africa, first of all, we have to understand what kind of opportunities are these. They are economic opportunities, developmental opportunities, opportunities where we can improve the standard of living of each and every individual. And taking off from what the esteemed ambassadors have been saying, overcoming poverty and all the pressing challenges in Africa has to be a direct impact of education and not charity. Africa for so many years has been at the receiving end of charitable donations from all around the world, which is beautiful, but you know, it keeps the young people at the receiving end and makes their mind unproductive. So it has to be something that stems off from involving young people in community developmental endeavors, just like the foundation, Future Africa Leaders Foundation is doing. Involving young people in these things and letting them know that you can be a part of the change on the continent from where you are with what you have. And this is also to let you know other, beautiful organizations who have been donating charitably to the continent. We really appreciate that. But we want to move beyond charitable donations to actual development in the minds of young people so that they know that, you know, developing the continent and the opportunities that, you know, we should have are all around us. I mean, they're in our problems. So we have so many opportunities because we have so many problems. So it's important that, you know, people who are giving understand that they should involve young people in it. I mean, this would accelerate more opportunities. So instead of, you know, giving the young man 150,000 naira and tell him, you know, go and take care of your family. No. Equip him with the skills. Equip him with the skills, maybe with mechanics and or maybe trading, and then give him the money as a grant to start off from there. That would give him the opportunity. First of all, it has created the opportunity because you've equipped him with not just finances, but with a skill. I run an organization called Street Priests Incorporated. Street Priests Incorporated, and it has to do with the street children. All this while, people have just been, you know, trying to give to the street child, But what we do in my organization is that we let them know, first of all, nobody owes you anything. You are to get away from the goal of bitterness that, okay, someone got me here. Now, what do you do to take your life forward? And it's been tremendous in the past 3 years. Pastor Sir, we've graduated one of our kids from secondary school. And right now, as he's awaiting admission to university, he runs his own popcorn popcorn business.
Wow.
So we tell them that, it is even beyond getting you off the streets. We have a saying, we want to harness their potentials and turn them into assets for the society. So how can you add value? You can be a carpenter, but instead of ruining a life, you are adding value to somebody. And that's just one. The next thing I would like to talk about is the reward systems. Now, in our country, the reward system is warped. It's wrongly, the priorities are misplaced. So you see a situation where in a pageantry, the star prize is a car. And then the best graduating students get a new pair of shoes. So now, that pushes these young people to the idea that, okay, let me just, go for reality TV shows and maybe I'll hit the jackpot, I'll become a superstar and I'll become successful. So when young people have that ideology, that, okay, I can go for a pageantry and then I win 2 million naira. It would be less productive for me to take off my shirt and go and till the farm. Because there is more money in all these areas. Pop culture teaches us that, okay, if you want to be rich fast and, be a musician, be this, be that, that is beautiful. But we have to understand that for real development to take place on the African continent, opportunities have to be created in the reward system aspect of our lives, whereby people who are, doing well in social development, social enterprises, developmental aspects of society, and they are properly rewarded. And, the young people have true role models. Instead of pursuing the wind or chasing, vain things, they can now put their energies into good use. They can now put their mental energies into finding solutions to the problems that we have. Because, like our man of God has taught us, all the solutions to our problems are within us. The solutions to the problems are within us. No white man can solve our problems more than we can. And we've proven that over and over and over again. And we have so many problems, and we have so many solutions to these problems. And many of these problems are applicable all around the world. That means we are sitting on something that would not just impact the African continents, but the world at large. Then lastly, what I want to talk about, Pastor, is the fact that in as much as we talk about opportunities, and when we talk about opportunities, it has to come from somewhere. This opportunity has to come from somewhere. I hold the honest opinion that you create your own opportunities. And like we've learned, you see, success is when opportunities meet preparation. And these are things we can create by ourselves, for ourselves. There's a saying that says that if you set yourself on fire, the world will come to watch you burn. That's an opportunity. The world is looking for that man who is going to put himself into good use and then sought after him. So it's not the other way around. Where we look for the opportunities, where we look for the jobs, that is what is causing the Libya crisis. Because they believe that the opportunities are in Italy. And that's a very wrong notion, because the opportunities are right here, where we are. And we are the ones that are supposed to make good use of it. So when we have that mindset that someone owes us these opportunities, it's wrong. We have to create ourselves and become so good that people are looking for the opportunity to come in contact with us. So that is how we ought to go around this. And I believe that if we put this into actual use and put this into work in our lives, we will see drastic change. And, people will come from all around the world to look to harness the opportunities in Africa.
Thank you. Thank you so much. There are two things you said which really are thought-provoking. You said in Africa there are so many opportunities because there are so many challenges. So challenges are opportunities for growth, for development, for even having a career if you're able to solve people's problems. Then secondly, you mentioned about the reward system. Recently in our country, Nigeria, there was a gentleman who won $30,000, was it $30,000? No more than $30,000, because about $100,000 for Big Brother. Yeah. And interestingly, when he came back to the country, the governor of his state invited him for a grand reception where he was given about another $30,000 or thereabouts as a gift. But people have come out first class in the university, and even the commissioner in charge of education didn't even have a reception for them. You know, from the Nigerian Law School recently, this year in the call to bar, there was a lady who had the first class in law, in the law school. In her university, she had the first class in law also. So she was a double first class. But nobody even spoke about it. Oh.
Yeah,
but
also, particularly, let me just chip this in.
Yes.
You know, even Nigerians in diaspora are doing beautifully academically. I mean, in these universities, every year, you know, they chunk out hundreds of first-class students from African nations. And these are people who, most times, I mean, they weren't even born there. They just went there for school.
Yeah.
And they came out, and they would come back home, and nobody even sees them.
Sees anything. Or,
You know,
nobody talks about it.
Talks
Nobody
about them,
recognizes
yes.
it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, may I say something? Sorry, sir. So there's a story that he told me as we were all out of the set, that there's a campaign that has been running in the whole world, you know, Black Lives Matter. But he said something that was really special. He said, during this Black Lives Matter is somebody that wrote a composition. They asked him to write an essay about stuff, and he just writes, the whole page wrote Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. However that good is, but at the same particular time, there was a lady that's of Nigerian descent that got accepted into 10 Ivy League schools.
Yes, I read about it yet.
But nobody talked about it.
Nobody talked about it.
Till today, people can't even say her name. You know, Pastor, it's something about how the world has been shaped, and that's where we're here. You know, and there's something, Pastor, that you told us last year. You said that we need to harness the power of social media. You know, we need to harness the power of that 140 characters on Twitter, the power of our Facebook post, the power
on King's Chat,
you know, on Instagram, and on Cflix, Pastor. Because when we look at what we can share out there, you know, recently I did a project called Kwanzaa Africa. You know, I thought about how can we have a platform, an online platform, where young African leaders can come, you know, and sit down and look at what other young African leaders are doing and get an inspiration. Because I believe one thing, that our problems might be different, but some solution might be unique in one aspect or the other. What happened, the problem that is being faced in Nigeria, I can borrow something from what Pastor Sharon is doing and solve a similar or a different kind of problem in Kenya. So I created a platform. Pastor, lo and behold.
You created a platform?
Yes, it's called KwanzaaAfrica.com.
Called what?
Kwanzaa Africa.
KwanzaaAfrica.com.
Yes, Pastor.
Yeah.
Kwanzaa means first in Swahili, so it means Africa first. Pastor, for this, our maiden program was on the 25th of November. It was an online summit. We had over 32 people from over 32 nations register. I had people from Libya, Morocco. The best of it was somebody that called, sent in a video from Hargeisa, Somaliland. You know,
from Somaliland. Somaliland has no government right now, or recognizable government as
Actually, Pastor, there's a difference between Somalia and Somaliland.
Okay.
Somalia, the capital city of Somalia is Mogadishu. But the capital city of Somaliland is Hargeisa. So these are some of the ways, and something that came out from one of those videos that they sent in was that, did you know that Somaliland is in Africa, there's no other country that's cheaper to make international calls than Somaliland. You know, these are some things that change the way we see Africa. So we can harness the power of social media. When you sit down, instead of just posting about, hey, this is what I ate for lunch, this is what take a picture of your Africa, what you want people to see about the Africa that you're in. And then from then on, we can change the way other people see. In short, let us show Africa from our own lenses, from our own phones, from our own characters. You know, when you go on King's Chat, what are you showing about Africa? Africa is bigger than the problems, it's bigger than all the people that are sleeping in the slums and everything.
You know something that will also help? You know, I do have a lot of followers on King's Chat. So it will also help in getting the news out of, for example, this Kwanzaa Africa you did, or the stuff you do, so that I can help in giving more of a voice to what you are doing, because you had a platform that the man of God gave to you. I have a platform that the man of God has given to me through King's Chat and through the things I do. So we can harness the work together, getting people to hear about what you're doing, so that King's Chat becomes even more robust. And we're getting more people coming to King's Chat, so that they will know that there are other things in King's Chat that is talking about Africa. Because what you're doing, more people need to hear it. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this is so lovely. Thank you so
now
much.
We've created an opportunity
Okay.
By speaking about the things that we do, we've created an opportunity through you.
Yeah, to me.
Yes.
Honestly. Yeah.
For more people to know about what we're doing.
Yeah.
So in accelerating opportunities, people should learn to speak out, to talk, to engage through social media, through other platforms. You could be sitting beside, that big opportunity you're looking for on the plane, and you never
Okay,
know.
director said we're going to wrap up the talk show, but one thing, I need to get more of what you're doing so that we can. And there are a lot of other people who would like to talk about what you're doing on King's Chat and on C-Flix. All right. So, thank you so much. We've been talking about accelerating youth opportunity in Africa. Now, we're going next to a batch of nominees, so don't go away. We are just coming close to the end, but you've got to be with me at the end. See you later.
Government policies have a significant impact on young people's lives. Their participation in decision-making provides opportunities for them to have their way on issues of importance. We should always consider young people as valuable members of the society and community. This evening, we're recognizing the exemplary impact of young people across Africa. I present to you the next set of nominees. Antoinette Manzibi from South Africa. Israel Hamaundu Chimuka from Zambia. Chidera Ezeugu from Nigeria. Samuel Morandi Kamwaka from Congo Brazzaville. Happiness Adana Izuole from Nigeria. Depa Opoku Opera from Ghana. Thank you.
Antoinette Manzambi is a highly inspired youth leader who believes she has a vital role to play in making her world a better place. As a youth leader in Kensington, she has organized several programs to impact the lives of young people in her world. She also addressed several assemblies in both primary and secondary schools where she shared elevated thoughts and inspired her young listeners for change and excellence, also distributing free youth-tailored Christian materials. Antoinette also visited orphanages where she shared the gospel with the kids and also donated food, clothing, free Christian materials, and many more. The local radio station was so pleased with her work that they offered her a slot every week on the radio station to read Christian materials. Antoinette also took the initiative to organize various programs aimed at educating and empowering young girls with life skills and higher ideals for living. A big accomplishment of hers was organizing a highly impactful June 16th event on Youth Day and also the Teens Takeover service. Due to her outstanding work, more than 3,000 lives have been impacted, and many young girls look up to her and recognize her as their role model. Israel Hamaundu Chimuka is a vibrant and influential 22-year-old youth leader who is passionate about transforming the lives of his fellow youths. To this effect, he started the Start Youth Initiative after identifying the need to reach out to youths and empower them through academic excellence talks and mentoring programs, using salient Christian materials on success motivation, mind management, and leadership development. These programs have greatly enhanced the performance of 20 rural schools, each with over 2,000 students, with record of over 70% improvement in academic performance among pupils and significantly reduced absenteeism. Aside from the school programs, Israel works with youths at risk on the streets through weekly enlightenment programs and feeding initiatives. This started with one program where 80 youth attended and were irreversibly impacted. Since then, Israel has partnered with other student organizations such as Streetwise and Street Mission Service to reach out to about 30 youths on a weekly basis. Israel is a passionate youth who is committed to building the Africa of his dreams, and we applaud his many great works. Natasha Chidera Ezogu is a vibrant young leader with intense passion for youth education and empowerment. A certified advocate for women and girls' rights, she is most committed to educating the girl child and ending violence against women. Keenly following her agenda, Natasha pioneered the Education for the Girl Child project. The project partnered with other organizations to raise funds for the setup of a vocational center for girls. Promoting key values like decency, honesty, and humility, the center has served more than 30 female children in a period of 5 months. Pursuing literacy education for the girl child in rural parts of eastern Nigeria, Natasha founded the Make Girls Initiative, MGI, in 2016. Her passion to end violence against women led her to collaborate with the Ministry of Education and partner with the Nigerian Police Force to organize a Say No to Violence campaign in May 2017. To mitigate the escalating number of teenage pregnancies in her local community, Natasha developed a reproductive health campaign for educating girls on preventing risky sexual behavior, impacting over 2,000 teenage girls. She also collaborated with organizations like End Child Sexual Abuse in Nigeria, Black Diamond Support Foundation, and African Network for Prevention and Protection Against Child Abuse and Neglect, both to run online and on-site campaigns against rape and to provide support for rape victims. In recognition of her sterling leadership in the field, Natasha was appointed as Enugu State's coordinator for Walk and Talk Against Rape and Abuse, WATARA, which availed her the opportunity to address over 700,000 people on national radio on the dangers of rape and other plights faced by the girl child. Natasha was recognized by Wisdom for Women International and was honored by the annual Wise Women's Award in July 2017. She is also an ambassador of the Girls Club Nigeria. Natasha is a role model and a mentor to many youths, and her passion for young people makes her stand out exceptionally as a future Africa leader. From one of Africa's francophone nations hails this amazing 21-year-old Samuel Miradi Kamwaka, who displays exemplary leadership by virtue of his total commitment in service to humanity. With a clear-cut vision of his power to lead and with unwavering commitment to serve, he runs very successful initiatives which cut across health, education, sports, and other spheres of human interest. Driving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4, which is quality education, Samuel saw the need to aid several students who faced difficulties with their studies. He founded the Success Club, where he successfully impacted over 500 youths and distributed Christian materials to help their spiritual and intellectual development. Several of these young people improved with the benefit of receiving lessons in chemistry, physics, and English, and are performing well in their respective schools. As a coordinator of the Volunteer Medical Corps chapter in Congo, Samuel and his team of medical officers and medics reached out to an old people's home in the town of Caritas, where the residents became beneficiaries of donations such as drugs, mosquito nets, and toiletries, and were also treated to free health services. His ability to see the needs of those around him and meet those needs, and his unfathomable impact in many lives through various life-changing initiatives distinguished Samuel Miradi as a future African leader. Happiness Izwara is an exceptional 20-year-old whose actions stem from a passion to touch lives and cause a lasting change wherever she's found. Moved by the plight of internally displaced persons, IDPs in northern Nigeria, Happiness launched the Project Spare initiative, which was orchestrated to provide relief items for refugees at designated IDP camps in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. She organized awareness campaigns to promote interest in the initiative and set up collection points for benevolent donations from members of the community. She also raised funds for purchase of other required items and transportation. Project Spare served over 5,000 persons with more than 20,000 items realized through its collections and purchases. Light a Community is another initiative spearheaded by Happiness in the year 2017. To improve quality education in public primary and secondary schools in the community, Happiness started a project titled Teachers Without Borders. Starting with her alma mater, where she observed high failure rate in basic sciences due to the unavailability of a qualified teacher, Happiness volunteered to teach the subject for free. Over 8,000 students in 10 schools across the city of Lagos, Nigeria have benefited from this project. Still on education, Happiness introduced the Mind Management Classic. She distributed the book to schools who adopted the course and donated some copies to the school libraries. Always on the lookout for a need to meet, Happiness discovered a remote area of Lagos where students miss school owing to lack of footwear. To curb the prevalence of foot diseases among these youth, she collaborated with a charity organization to provide 100 sandals and socks for the pupils and ensured their return to school. Happiness is indeed an agent of change in her world, with over 15,000 lives impacted. This is only the beginning of a pivotal role in shaping the future of Africa. Evelyn Opoku Appiah is a dynamic youth leader who has risen to the challenge of raising more leaders and inspiring the next generation for better exploits. Evelyn's motivation propelled her to establish the New Africa Initiative, a non-governmental organization that has championed several laudable projects and impacted thousands of lives. Seeking to improve leadership potential among young people, Evelyn initiated Youth in Governance, a forum for awakening youth to prevalent issues in society and provoking change through youth development. This opened more doors for Evelyn, and she is recognized as an ambassador for democracy in West Africa. She was also invited to the Future World Center's Reinventing Democracy Conference in Nairobi, Kenya, and has been opportuned to make a difference through tours to Rwanda, Cyprus, and Kenya. The Youth for Peace campaign is a project in collaboration with the United Nations Development Projects and the Future World Center to address the various Sustainable Development Goals by the UN. The event took place at the Ghana School of Arts and Sciences on the 26th of May 2017 with about 430 participants. After the meeting, a lot of youth groups stood up for the various Sustainable Development Goals. Some of our international delegates have started making massive impact in their respective countries. Determined to make a difference, Evelyn Appiah is one to watch as a leader of Future Africa.
Wisdom Jacob Oemechi, Maganga John from Malawi, Fuen Brenda Fomin from Cameroon.
The Future Africa Leaders Award recognizes youth leaders who, through their exemplary leadership, have distinguished themselves and impacted the lives of so many young people in Africa.
The last few years we've been raising young leaders in the nations of Africa for the future of Africa.
I'd like to say a very big thank you to the President of Believers Love World Incorporated, Reverend Dr. Chris Oyakilome, who is also the founder of the Future Africa Leaders Foundation. You know, young people are the conduits of creativity. They are catalysts for change. They're ambitious, they're creative, and they are capable of rethinking the world and solving tomorrow's problems today. And that is why we are recognizing these Future Africa Leaders Award nominees for their outstanding contribution to the development of Africa. So, the next set of nominees for tonight are Felicity Gaborla Manwunyo from Ghana, Mosavu Molengoi from Gabon, Emmanuel Kanganga from Angola, David Mushavi from Zimbabwe, Gift Oyareto Eronwonze from Nigeria, Naema Nakayamba Leyopa from Tanzania.
David Mushai from Cameroon. David Mushai is a highly motivated and resourceful youth leader who is impacting the lives of thousands of young people in his nation and beyond. He started several youth groups in 10 different high schools in Zimbabwe and organized motivational career guidance and educational workshops, offering mathematics and other relevant topics to the students, solving the needs of the financially challenged students in his groups. He raised sponsors to pay full tuition for 30 high school students and provided free educational materials and basic welfare amenities to hundreds of students in different high schools. Over 540 students were beneficiaries of this inspiring initiative. Worthy of commendation, he also facilitated scholarships for 1,000 students to study select skills in the nation. Concerned about the disruption in education of financially challenged female students who couldn't afford them, he started a campaign and raised sponsors to supply free female hygienic products to over 230 girls to afford them the opportunity to remain in school. He is such an inspiring role model and ambassador for change in his community and beyond. Jesse Musavu Mulengwi Vanola is a dynamic youth leader who has made his mark in his community and nation through various inspiring initiatives in his nation of Gabon. He started youth groups and success motivation seminars, which impacted over 1,000 youths in his community, motivating them to more productive lives. He has developed and installed in the young people a sense of responsibility and civic duties through constant engagement and various initiatives. He organized campaigns and raised a team of young people to meet the needs of several in his community. He raised sponsors to take care of educational and welfare costs of orphans in his community. He similarly mobilized a team to provide free electrical and plumbing services to elderly people's homes in his community. Significantly, his team was also involved in the cleanup of a major highway which catered to 5 communities. The impact of his initiatives are the defining qualities which have earmarked Jesse as a worthy recipient of this year's Future Africa Leaders Award. Emmanuel Kananga from Angola. Emmanuel Kananga is an inspiring youth leader and community builder who has impacted youths and communities across his nation of Angola. He started youth groups in his community to engage the youth and motivate him to channel their energies into productive endeavors. He organized a soccer tournament in which 4 teams comprising of over 2,500 youths participated. He has served as a mentor and leader to many of them. Tackling the serious challenge of water pollution and resultant diseases in his community, he started a campaign and raised sponsors to drill a borehole to serve the Kunene province. Currently, over 146,000 residents have access to clean drinkable water through his efforts. He further organized blood drives and raised 450 blood donors who donated 300 pints of blood to accident victims and other beneficiaries. He started a Clean Your City initiative and partnered with the governor of Luanda, who furnished cleaning trucks and other heavy-duty machinery required to clean up the streets. Indeed, Emmanuel is a trailblazer par excellence and has impacted the lives of youths and entire communities in his nation. Gift Oyarito from Nigeria. Gift Oyarito is a dynamic youth leader who has impacted thousands of youth, empowering them to be self-reliant, financially independent, and entrepreneurial, fulfilling their dreams in life. He started several youth groups across 25 high schools and organized motivational, educational, and skills acquisition workshops for the students. He organized training and vocational subjects, distributing over 5,000 educational and motivational materials to students. He recorded over 90% students in his group passing their examination with great strides. Worthy of commendation, he partnered with various entrepreneurs to give certified training to over 700 students on various skills and businesses. He also facilitated loans which enabled these students to start up their businesses, becoming full entrepreneurs. He embarked on environmental sanitation drives and organized the cleanup of several communities and schools, donating bins and much-needed cleaning materials. He worked to rehabilitate a lady who had been homeless for over 20 years and raised sponsors to pay for her house and amenities, getting her off the streets. Notably, he partnered with the Lagos State Ministry of Education and other corporate bodies to train over 150 teachers on healthy classroom delivery skills, and also organize celebration of awards across different high schools in the state, noticeably improving both teacher and student morale. His efforts have received several commendations from international and local organizations. Gift Onyarator is indeed a trailblazer who has empowered over 5,000 youths through his laudable initiatives. Let's celebrate a future Africa leader. Felicity Bogla Mawunyo from Ghana. Felicity Bogla Mawunyo is a dynamic youth leader who is making an impact in the lives of teenagers and other young people across different communities in her nation. She started several youth clubs across different high schools in the community, organizing motivational and educational workshops aimed at raising new leaders for the community. She has also taken advantage of her platform as a journalism student to reach out to fellow students and aspiring journalists in her institution. Testimonials from the millennials impacted by her dynamic media outreach have continued to pour in. Moved by the high suicide rates among young people in her nation, she found the Centrap Foundation to combat this societal ill. Partnering with certified counselors, she organized Say No to Suicide campaigns across major high schools in her community, inspiring them with hope for the future, along with practical medical tips on dealing with suicidal thoughts and depression. Over 3,000 young people have been positively impacted by this initiative, for which she received official commendation from several schools in her region. Felicity Bogla Mawunyo is indeed an inspiring future leader to watch. Nima Kayamba Neyopan from Tanzania. Nima Kayamba Neyopan is a dynamic youth leader, innovator and entrepreneur par excellence, who has impacted thousands of youth, empowering them to become financially independent entrepreneurs and productive members of society. She started several youth groups across communities, high schools, colleges, and universities, and has organized motivational, character building, academic training, and other soft skills workshops for different cadres of students. She translated and distributed over 3,000 motivational and educational materials into the native language, giving more students in the rural areas access to these materials. Over 1,500 students have been impacted by these initiatives. Moved by the plight of street kids and other at-risk youth in the community, she organized special outreaches to provide food and much-needed provisions to them, as well as workshops aimed at keeping them from a life of crime and inspiring them to overcome their present challenges and become productive members of society. She started a campaign and raised sponsors to grant scholarship and welfare packages to 107 street children, successfully getting them off the streets and catering to their needs. Worthy of special commendation is her entrepreneurial outlook and empowerment of several youths to start businesses of their own. She started farms, fish ponds, poultry, and several related income streams and gainfully employed the youth. She further trained them to acquire these skills for themselves and to start their own businesses, convinced that youth did not preclude them from being entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurial training also extended to fashion, catering, welding, and other business opportunities. She started a green community initiative to network the youth to establish professionals and corporate bodies. Significantly, she facilitated loans for 15 of these students to start their own businesses. Currently, over 200 students have become entrepreneurs because of her efforts. Most commendable are the entrepreneurial initiatives she has started, which fund the philanthropic outreaches to thousands of financially challenged youth. Nima is a role model who has empowered thousands to become financially independent entrepreneurs in their respective communities.
Well, that is the nomination show for 2017 FALA. Actually, this is the 5th nomination show we've had. And what a show today. You know, every year the nominees keep getting more and more, keep increasing. So who's going to win 2017 Future Africa Leaders Award? And who's going to be our star prize winner? You will find out on the announcement show during the 31st New Year, December 31st New Year Eve service with the man of God, Pastor Chris. Remember, every winner that is selected out of the nominees today, every winner goes with $10,000 US. Yes, because we have many winners. Each winner goes with $10,000 US. And out of the winners announced on the 31st of December, we will have one star prize winner, who in addition to $10,000 as the winner, gets $25,000 US as a star prize winner, taking his total winning to $35,000. Well, we'll find that out on 31st December during the New Year's Eve service with the man of God, Pastor Chris. Before we go tonight, I have to thank a lot of people who made not only this nomination show possible, but also the FALA vision possible. First and foremost, and most importantly, I want to thank our man of God, the president of Believers Love World, the president of the Future Africa Leaders Foundation, the institutor of the Future African Leaders Award, the visionaire, and the one who set that goal of raising young people that will take Africa into the future. I want to thank my man of God, Reverend Dr. Chris Oyakhilome, DSc, DD, PhD. Pastor, thank you for this wonderful vision. This vision has not only inspired the young people, it has also inspired us, every one of us. Today has been such an inspiring and motivating couple of hours. Thank you, Pastor. And I want to thank you, sir, also for the opportunity to host tonight's show. I want to thank the Future Africa Leaders Foundation, not just the foundation, but all the staff members of the foundation who are involved in the work of the foundation and have put together actually tonight's nomination show and work hard to ensure that we have a wonderful announcement show on December 31st. I want to especially recognize the arrowhead of the foundation, the esteemed Pastor Deola Phillips. Thank you. God bless you for such a wonderful work that you're doing. I want to thank all our celebrity announcers tonight, Pastor K. Adishina, Dr. Shoke Muareb, the esteemed CISO of the Believers Love World Nation, Pastor Deola Phillips, the winner of FALA 2016, Sister Karen Musotsa, and the Assistant Secretary General of the Believers Love World, Pastor Karen Victor. Thank you for such wonderful announcements of our nominees. Those who have been on the panel with me tonight, Pastor Sharon Ajide, Brother Lutan Salape, Brother James Okina, thank you very much for inspiring us. It was so wonderful. Our musical guests, thank you for gracing this occasion. the orator of the foundation, Future Africa Leaders Foundation, the orator who has been behind the scenes. You heard him reading out all the citations. Thank you for such a wonderful, wonderful job. Finally, I want to thank all our viewers. You are watching us from all over the world, from Canada, from the United States, watching from North America on Love World USA, watching us from the UK. We had calls from the UK, watching us on Love World TV UK. Then also from Southern Africa, watching on Love World Sat. And then our wonderful host tonight, the technical crew. Thank you, every one of you who made tonight such a wonderful, wonderful occasion. My name is Pastor Titi Edo, and I had a wonderful time being with you. God bless you. Signing off.
The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow. Therefore, the future of every nation lies in the hands of her youth. Africa is blessed with young people, rich with diverse talents, many of them untapped, and the youth make up 60% of the population of Africa. This is why we must do all we can to inspire, develop, and empower them for a greater future.
During my research, I also found out that young Africans were not employed. They just get to school, come out, and they start looking for jobs. So it became an issue, and I felt I should correct it.
So I understood that the way the agriculture was being done in my region was not the way they would have their own economic freedom. So I had to go back and research more on how to make agriculture more of a modern way that would help all my people in my region.
So that's why we initiated the project Off the Streets and Back to School project, and majorly to take these children off the street and actually educate them.
The Future Africa Leaders Foundation is an initiative aimed at exploring and expanding the leadership potential in Africa and for Africa. Within the past 5 years, we have identified, recognized, and empowered young Africans from over 40 African countries who have demonstrated exemplary leadership in different fields. So, join us as we reach and empower more young people from across Africa to bring Africa into the future of our dreams. You can participate in these ways. You can sponsor the Future Africa Leaders Foundation's conferences and summits in African countries. And you can sponsor a youth project in Africa. For more information, please visit our website at www.futureafricaleadersfoundation.org. Future Africa Leaders Foundation, impacting Africa.
Wisdom Jacob Oemechi, Maganga John from Malawi, Fuen Brenda Fomin from Cameroon.
The Future Africa Leaders Award recognizes youth leaders who, through their exemplary leadership, have distinguished themselves and impacted the lives of so many young people in Africa.
The last few years, we've been raising young leaders in the nations of Africa for the future of Africa.